Hello, and thank you for joining the NEOS Academy on Reporting and Analytics. Let's go ahead and get started. I am your host. My name is Lauren Root, and I am the Knowledge Base Content Manager here at Assembly. With me today, I have Pam Hodge, the Business Consultant for the Professional Services Department. I also have Dawn Rowan, Customer Support Trainer and QA. And I also have Michael Hetzel, Senior Manager of Product Engineering. So let's go ahead and see what we're going to be discussing today. All right, so on our agenda today, we're going to be looking at advanced search, where you can create custom advanced search queries, save them, export them, and manipulate those results. We'll be taking a look at custom dashboards and tiles using those advanced search queries that we have just saved, that we'll be saving from a moment ago. We'll be taking a look at some advanced analytics, as well as our report writing services. Then we'll be looking into some specific reporting features, and then follow that up with the knowledge base, portal, and review. So I'm going to turn this off for now, and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start off with advanced search. So before we navigate to advanced search, let's make sure that we have the right permissions to be able to access that. So we're going to go to our settings button, our gear on the left navigation pane. We're going to scroll down to our permission groups. And once that's open, go ahead and choose the appropriate permission group for the group of staff that you'd like to grant this permission for. And then we're going to click the caret next to General, scroll down, and you'll see Advanced Search down below here. So let's just take a quick moment to look at what these permissions will grant. So if all the people in this selected group have enabled permissions, they will be able to view and run those saved advanced search queries. Now, if they also have add permissions, they'll be able to create new advanced search queries and save those queries as well. If they can modify, they'll be also able to make any changes to queries that have already been saved. And then if they have delete, then they can delete those saved advanced search queries. So making sure that you have the appropriate permissions is important before you get started. Okay, so how do we access advanced search? We're going to go up to this search bar up here and just single click right in there. And then if you scroll down, you'll see this advanced search text. So let's go ahead and click that. Okay, so in this advanced search, we have our search for dropdown. Now, this does default to cases when you first come in here, but let's see all the other options. So you'll have things like searching for calendar, case documents, you can search for value entries and time, but you may also notice that I have some other entries in here like military history or medical condition, and these are related to dynamic forms. So dynamic forms is part of the NEOS AI Platinum package that we offer. And the wonderful thing about dynamic forms is that you can add them inside of your case, and you can in this advanced search, when data has been added to those fields from these dynamic forms, you can locate that data, particularly from those forms, and then you can locate where, in which cases, these dynamic forms have been added. So if your firm does not have dynamic forms, but you're interested in a trial, reach out to your customer success manager for some more information, and they can help get you started. Okay, so for our purposes right now, we're going to do a basic case search. So as you can see, we have already had some filters that have been added for us. I'm going to go ahead and just delete this second one because I want to concentrate on just this first row here. And then we're going to add some additional filters. So this filter or criteria has select case type. I can click into here, search for anything else I'd like to choose, and we are going to add that in just a minute, but let's leave it as select case type for now. And in this operator field, this is asking what exactly am I looking for when I'm searching for a case type? And in my first search, I would just like to search for one case type. So I'm going to choose equal. Okay, and this is a type in field. So I'm going to select the case type that I'm looking for. And so I'm looking for cases that equal MVA. Okay, so let's go ahead and add another criteria. You'll see here I do have this add criteria option, so I'm going to head and click that. Now, we do have this additional sort of operator field where I can choose whether I want to have MVA cases and another criteria or another criteria. So in this example, I'm going to stick with end. And let's use this filter here to find the next criteria that we want to filter our cases by. So I'm going to start typing in date opened, and here I have my field here. So I'll just go ahead and click it. And in this example, I would like to look for cases that were opened in 2024. So when I click my operator field, I am going to select greater than. Now, you can all well, actually, let's say for this example, we do greater than or equal to, and I'll tell you why. So if I were just to do greater than, and I select a date back in the beginning of the year, and I chose January 1st, it would be everything after January 1st. But since I would like to include any dates, any cases that were open on January 1st, that's why I'm going to choose greater than or equal. So I'll select that, and our data is populated here. Now, before we click run search, I want to customize this query just a little bit more. So I can go ahead and add this criteria again, another criteria here by doing add criteria, but I'm going to bring you over to the right where we have this plus sign, and that will link the next criteria that I add to the previous one. So it's almost like a parent-child relationship. So let's go ahead and type in date closed, and I'll select that there. Now, what this is saying is I want to see case types that were MVA that were open sometime in 2024, but they are still open. In this example, I'm going to choose still open. So I'm going to select that date closed, and I'm going to say is blank because we know that date closed is a field on the case. And if I say it's blank, then there is no, that case is still open. So it is not closed. And so that other field will just go away. So let's go ahead and click run search. And in here, you will notice that we have these results as well. We're going to go into these results in more detail, but let's just go ahead and save this report because we're going to use this a little bit later. So I'm going to click save as new. Okay. And let's give it a new title. So let's say I call it MVA cases opened in 2024. Oh, it looks like I've already saved this report as this report with this exact title. And keep in mind that this name your search field is case sensitive. So if this were lowercase, it would be okay. So just keep in mind that it has to be unique and it is case sensitive. So just for today's purposes, I'm just going to add an underscore there. Now, the description field is required, but it does default to this created from advanced search, but you can just click in and change it accordingly if you'd like. Now, we also have another option for save as a shared report. So if I turn this slider on, you'll notice here that we now have this report category field, also required, but by saving it as a shared report, it will also be available in the report library here. Okay, and so this is basically just asking where would you like to have this report located? So in these purposes, I'd like to just choose case. And let's go ahead and click save. And now that that report is saved, and you can tell by the title here, this was saying advanced search, and now it has the title of the report we just saved. It'll show right here. If we change the description, it would also display here, as well as the saved search being located here. So this saved search dropdown will contain all of my saved searches. It is a type in field, so if I need to find it at a later time, I can just start typing in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and modify this report. So let's say I've saved this report, it looks great, but I want to create another report based off of this. Now I can go ahead and open up a brand new advanced search tab, but since I want to reuse some of these, I'm just going to kind of modify this, but not save my changes. So here is how you can do that. So let's go ahead and we are going to remove this date opened because I just want to see all open cases In this instance, I don't care when it was open. I just want to see that it's open right now. And I still would like to see MVA cases. Now, for example, if you're looking for um, multiple case types, you can choose this includes any of, where this becomes a multi-select, and you can go ahead and add additional case types to search for. But for this example, we're just going to keep it as equals. And then I'm going to select my add criteria button to add another criteria. And let's go ahead and click class code. We'll just type it in. And here we go. And now we'll click the caret next to that and choose select class. Okay. And so before I go ahead and decide what my operator will be, I'm just going to take a quick look at those results that I had from my previous search. And I can see here that the class code title is filled in on some of these cases, but not all of the cases. So for this example, I would like to only include the ones that have a class code filled in. So I'm going to say is not blank here, and that will pull out all these entries that do not have a class code. Let's go ahead and add one more criteria, and we are going to search for staff assigned. And we'll click the caret next to case staff assigned any, and then staff, and we'll just choose that select staff. So I have a few staff that I'm interested in looking at the data for. So I'm going to choose that includes any of, so this becomes a multi-select. So I'll just start typing in their names. When it pops up, I'll click them to select. And now I have this search criteria. I'm going to go ahead and run my search. And now I can see that I have a total of 4 entries. These are cases that are MVA. We didn't care when they were open, but just that they are currently open. And we're looking for a particular staff code, and also that they have a class code title filled in here. Okay, so this is the case search that we modified. We're not going to save the changes here, but let's go ahead and create a brand new search. Again, I can do it right from here, but to share an example of having multiple tabs open, I'm going to go back to my search and click the advanced search down below. Okay, so now we have a brand new tab. You can see it has not been saved because it says advanced search up at the top. And let's go ahead and change the search for. We're going to go all the way down to value. Again, this is a type in field, so I could have typed it in. And this is just letting you know that any of the filters that you have here will be reset. And since we created a brand new search, that is okay. Let's go on. I'm going to click yes. And now this search has changed to value. There is no default criteria, but that's okay. We are going to click run search, and I just want to see all of the value entries across all of my cases inside Neos, and here is that list. Now, before we take a look at these results, I'm going to draw your attention to this add remove columns option here. So in here, these are all the available columns based on the search. So we searched for value. So these are value related columns. Now, as you're looking through here, you might see some of these columns have a black highlight background and some do not. So what that means is that the ones that are black highlight, they have been inserted into this grid, and the ones that are not can be inserted, but they're not there right now. So let's just add rate, for example. And when we click off out of that, the grid will refresh. And when I scroll all the way to the right, I do see this rate column that has been added. Now, let's say I only want to see the rate column sometimes, but I don't want to always have to select it on or off. I can just click the 3 dots to the right of the column heading, and that will take me down to the columns pop out here. And when I scroll to the left and I scroll down, I see the rate column that I added. It is checked, which means it's currently shown in this grid, but I can just uncheck it. And when I go back, it's now gone. So that is just an easy tool for you to include your columns and then hide them and show them when you need them. Okay, so let's take a look back at these results. So we have a ton of results here, over 1,000. That is surely a lot to go through. And I would really like to see a total of the amount that's due across all of these value entries in my Neos system. But I certainly don't want to add these all up manually. That would just take too much time. So let's see a quick way for us to calculate this. So on the due column, I'm going to click the three dots to the right. And now I have this summarize option. And just keep in mind, depending on which way this separate window flies out, make sure that you scroll to the left or right and then scroll up so you have this option stays there for you. So for this purpose, I'm going to choose sum. And now I can see that the sum has been added, and I can quickly glance at the total amount of all the value entries across all of my cases inside NEOS. Now, this is definitely helpful, but when I scroll over, I do see that there are many value entries across some of the same cases, and I would like an easy way, a quick way for me to glance and just see what is categorized into each case number. So this is where grouping comes into play. So if I go over to this case number field and I click the three dots to the right of that title, I have this group by this column option. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So now that I've grouped everything by case number, all of those 1,000 entries have been collapsed underneath each unique case number. So remember before we had over 1,000 entries here, and now we're down to 132. Now those over 1,000 entries are still there. They're just tucked under each of the unique case numbers. So there's 132 unique case numbers in this list. So if I click the caret next to the case number, for example, case 4, I will see that there are 22 value entries within this case. Now, that is wonderful, but I'm also looking at the value code title, and some of these value code titles are the same. So I have a few case expense, a few time, and I'd really like to see just at a more quick glance how many I have of each of those. So here's where I can group a second level. So I'm going to go to the value code title, go to the three dot button, and I'm going to group by this column. And so you'll see that all of your entries are collapsed again. Let's go back to that case 64. We'll click the caret. And now we have a second level of grouping. So just at a quick glance, I can see that, in case 64, there are 22 total value entries, but there are actually 8 that are associated with attorney fee. And again, if I click that caret, I will see all those columns just as I did before. And of course, I have that sum, and that sum is available when I open up the last level of grouping. So I did 2 levels. I did one for the case number, one for the value code. You can do up to 3, but for today's purposes, we're just going to show the 2. Now, having this sum available is great, but of course, I'd have to open up each grouping. So I'd have to go to the case and then open up each value code title. And that is a little more work than I'd really want to do just to see the total amount. And we're looking for fast here. So let's see how we can make this even faster. So there is another option that you can choose, which is the aggregation. So to aggregate, you need to make sure that at least one grouping has put into place. And so we have 2, so we're good there. And so let's say, for example, I want to aggregate the due column. I'll click this three dot button again, and now I have the aggregation option. So these have the same options as summarize, but I'm going to show you how you can have access to 2 features that you didn't see before without aggregation. So again, this is open on the right side. So let's just scroll to the right and then scroll up. And I'm going to choose max in this example. Okay, so again, our groupings have been collapsed. But before I even click into each case number, you'll notice that I do have the aggregation of the due max amount. So I'm showing the maximum amount that's due within each case number, but I also have the sum at the bottom where I didn't have that before when I had just those groupings put into place. I would have to go into each grouping to look at the sum, but now I have the sum right at my fingertips. But let's take it one step further. Let's open up that 64 case. We still see those 22 value entries, but we also now have the max due in that case right at the top level. And we also, if we were to open up each of these, we can still have access to the sum there. So just a quick way for you to access that information and to make it customized. And you can save this report as well if this is something that you'd like to customize once and then go back to when you need to. Just as a quick reminder before we move on, I forgot to mention this before, there is a Q&A button at the bottom. We do have a ton that we're going through today. So if you have questions, please put that at the bottom in the chat. And if we have time at the end, we'll try to answer some of those live. So thank you for that. Okay, so while we're in this listing of all of our case value entries, just as a reminder, you can double click anywhere in the row and you'll just be able to open up that exact value entry. It'll take you right into the case. And if you have edit permissions, you can edit accordingly. Okay, and I'm going to open up one of the cases that I go to frequently here. And let's say you're already in the value tab. And these are all the value entries for this case. As a reminder, you can go over to the 3-dot button and click that reports for case, which will automatically open advanced search. Now, when I show, I can show and hide this criteria. So it was hidden as the default, but I just want to share with you that it's automatically set to value for that selected case that I just came from. So all the value entries from that case are already shown. But another thing that's really great about accessing it from the case is that we already have these groupings set up for us. You can do them manually like I just shared, but we're already grouping by value code title. We're already going to see that count, the total of the amount that's for that value entry, if there was any reduction, and the total that's due today. So just another avenue for you to access that information from within the case. Okay, so another thing to take a look at, this is not a saved search, as you remember, because the title has not changed here. When you're in any advanced search, whether it's saved or not saved yet, you can export it. And one of our newer options that we added is the ability to export as Excel. So we already had these CSV and PDF, but now we have Excel, and Excel will give a little bit more formatting when you export this report. So for example, these column titles will be in bold. So have that option. And just remember that when you want to subscribe to a report, it does have to be a saved report. So let's go to our saved report that we just created before. We'll now have that subscribe option. And by default, we'll have the title of that saved report added in here. If this was not the one you wanted, you can use the dropdown to select a different report. And in addition to the new option in export, we also now have the option to subscribe to this as an Excel file. Okay, same as before, you'll enter the recipient's email and choose how often they should receive this. So if you have selected monthly, you can choose on which date they should receive this report. And if you have chosen weekly, you can multi-select on which days they should receive this. And then select the time and click execute. Now, the person that is in the recipient's the email for this recipient, they'll receive an email with a link to this report. And when they click the link, the download will initiate in their browser. And just keep in mind that that link they receive is valid for up to 5 days. Okay, let's go ahead and see what is next. Now, let's use this report that we created in some custom dashboards. So before we take a look at the dashboards, let's just go back to our permissions. Now you might be thinking, I thought everyone has access to my dashboards, and we do, but there is one feature of my dashboards that is special, and that's under special permissions. So we are going to type in, just to make it easier for us, we are going to start typing in activity feed, and we now have this activity feed tile. So just make sure that the group of users that you've selected, if you choose to, will have access to this activity feed tile. So let's go ahead and access my dashboards. You can access that from the 4 square button to the left or from the Neos icon. Okay. So as a reminder, my dashboards, everyone has access to this. Your Neos today is customized for you. So these are my checklist items assigned to me. These are my appointments that I have for today, as well as the messages in my Neos inbox, okay? And any dashboards that I've created will be located here. So for example, I created practice. Any dashboards that were created and shared with me would be here with the person icon. So as I can see, Pam has shared this dashboard with me. I can take a look at the query, the advanced search report that she used to create this here, but I wouldn't be able to make any changes. I can still hover, and these are still dynamic tiles, but as you can see, I can't edit this. And if I were to go to the gear icon, I wouldn't be able to rename the title of this dashboard or share this dashboard with anyone else. I can, however, remove the dashboard if I no longer need it, but just keep in mind that if you do remove it and you decide you need it again later, you will have to get in touch with the person that originally created it. Okay, the next dashboard to take a look at is the intakes overview. And now this is a Neos AI Platinum feature. And it goes into more detail on your intakes by stage and if you have intakes that are idle for a bit of time and also your intake checklist. So if you are interested in the intakes overview dashboard and all that comes with Neos AI Platinum, reach out to your customer success manager for some more details. Okay, before we go through our last dashboard type, let's go ahead and create a new dashboard. So I'm going to click Add Dashboard, and let's give it a unique title for today. And we'll call it Neos Academy. And we're going to keep it set to Neos today for now, and I'll explain the last dashboard type in a moment. So let's click Save. And now we have this brand new dashboard. There's nothing here yet, but we are going to add it. So let's add a tile. And we're going to jump right into that activity feed, which is those permissions that we took a look at in just a moment ago. So let's just click the plus for activity feed, and that will take us right over to here. We don't have to make any customization options, but where this would be useful is if you're working in a group of you manage and you want to see any changes that they have made inside of Neos. So for today's purposes, let's take a look at Pam and Dawn. Okay, I've selected those staffs here. And now I have all the activities that Pam and or Dawn have created or updated or changed inside of Neos. But I want to filter down further, which is where this funnel button comes into play. So I'll click that. And I can choose to see activities that were performed maybe in documents or value or police. I can also choose by a particular case number, search by that case number. I can see what was added, deleted, updated, etc. And I can also set a date range. So let's go ahead and click this date range. And I'm going to go back to last month on October 10th. So I'm going to click it once to have the start. And I'm going to click it again to have the end date because I only want to look at that one date. So I'll click OK and then click Apply. And now I can see that there were two entries that Pam had updated or created on this date. So I can see here that she created a value item and she added it to this case. So let's single click this case. I'll see a pop-up of some basic information about that entry. But if I click View, I will now have the side pane, which is the same side pane that you would see if you were inside that exact case on the value list view. And if I single clicked one of those entries. So this is a view that you might remember seeing. So I can see those details that she added. Now this field is not, these fields are not editable here, but as you can see, I do have a plus sign next to transaction details, where if I do need to add a transaction with this value entry that she created, and if I have the right permissions, I can just go ahead and click that and that window will pop up right in this view. So I wouldn't have to change my current view or have to go to the value tab if I don't want to. So I can do a few things right from this activity feed tile without having to leave my current screen. Now, after you have added tiles, be sure to save this, this dashboard so you don't lose any of your changes. But for our purposes, we're going to press on ahead and add some more tiles. So remember before when we had created that MVA cases opened in 2024 advanced search query, we are now going to use this, that report to see how we can visualize it on our dashboard. So let's go ahead and click the plus next to table. And here we're going to just search for that case. I'm sorry, that advanced search query that we saved earlier. And we had that with the underscore there. And just for this purpose, I'm going to call it table. Now, if it's been a while since I've created this search query and I'm not sure if it's exactly what I need, I can just click that View Edit Search Query button and it will open it in advanced search, allowing me to make any changes if I need to. So I think we're ready to go. So let's click Save. And let's use this drag anchor to bring it all the way over so we can see this data. So basically, this is the result of this report that we created earlier, and you can see the column headings here. Now, this is really great information, but I fear that this might be a ton of listings here. So let's see if we can find out how many are here without having to manually add those in our heads. So let's click number. Again, we're going to add the number tile. And let's look for that case, that advanced search query that we created earlier. Let's give it a title. We'll just call it number. And here we have some additional display options. So in the function, we have count, sum, max, min, average. But for this purpose, I would just like to know how many entries do I have here? How many cases were opened in 2024? So I'm just going to come here and come to count. And based on what you've selected in function, the following column field might not be applicable. So this is the case, and we'll just go ahead and click Save. Okay, so now we have a total number with a really quick glance to be able to see how many entries we have in this table using the exact same query that we just created up here. We have that count right there. So let's take it one step further, and I'd like to see something a little bit more visual. So let's go back to Add Tile, and we're going to choose Chart. Again, let's look for that saved advanced search query, and we'll just give this a quick title for today. And now we have the chart type, and you can play around with what works best for you, some different visualization options. So for today, I am going to choose a pie chart. And this is asking, how do I want this info grouped? Well, I would like to see this information grouped by the staff code. So I'm going to scroll down. Of course, this is a typable field, and I'll just scroll down and click there. So I have my primary staff code. And then for my function, what am I looking to see when I group them by staff code? I would just like to see the count. So how many cases were opened this year by each staff code? And again, that bottom field is not going to be applicable at this time. So let's go ahead and click Save. So now you can see that using all of the same saved advanced search query, I now have access to this interactive chart, this pie chart that gives me not only the listing of all the staff that I have, but when I hover over each part of the pie, I can see the total number of cases that were opened that are assigned to each of these staff. And as you can see, this blue piece of the pie is pulled out. You can just select it and it will pull back in. So this is helpful if you would like to kind of draw your attention to one portion of the pie and have that be the focal point for you. Now, if there are more staff, then you can see here, as you notice, there's a 1 out of 2. I can just click the arrow once I have this all saved to go to the next page of my listing of staff. Okay, so here we have our dashboards. Well, we created a brand new one. Let's go ahead and save so we don't lose our changes there. And now I'm going to share with you one last dashboard. This is the advanced analytics. And so you can tell that it's advanced analytics because it has this AA emblem right here. So before we go into the advanced analytics, let's just make sure we have the right permissions. So let's go back to our group permissions, select the appropriate group name there. And again, it's in a special permissions. So let's just start typing. There we go. Let's start typing advanced analytics. And now we have this advanced analytics permission under special permissions. Just make sure that the right people should have access to this advanced analytics. Now, as a reminder, this advanced analytics dashboard is a premium feature inside of Neos. So if your firm is interested in this in this premium feature, reach out to customer success and they can give you a demo, a full demo of this, and you can learn a little bit more about this premium feature, okay? But let's take a look at one that I have just created as an example. So you have these are pre-configured visualizations. So this is the dashboard that I've created. When you go to create an advanced analytics dashboard, it's going to be very similar to all the other dashboards that you can create on your own. Instead of a Neos today, it's going to be an advanced analytics dashboard. And now these visualizations that you see here, like I said, are pre-configured, so they are not customizable from what you're viewing, but you can interact with the results. You can filter and have like a focus mode of just a particular grouping of data if you'd like. And you can also interact with the results, such as like clicking an entry and seeing the data adjusted based on what you've clicked. So that is available as well. Another thing to keep in mind is that the changes that are made inside Neos are refreshed nightly. So any changes that are made today, you can take a look at tomorrow, because those changes from today are going to be shown tomorrow in this view. So just keep that in mind. But one of the great things about it is it pulls in all of your data over time. And so just as an example, a use case for this could be if you are want to see your MVA cases and how long it takes for your MVA cases to move from date opened to settlement. And then you can use that data to forecast your current caseload and then see those data trending, that data trend over time. So that would be a great use case for this advanced analytics dashboard. Okay, I think that covers it for advanced analytics. Right now, I'm going to pass it along to Michael Hetzel, who is going to talk about our professional services report writing service. Okay, I will stop the share here. And there's the right screen. Perfect. Go ahead, take it away, Michael.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, so hello, everybody. I just wanted to take an opportunity just to quick introduce myself, share a little about our report writing service. My name is Michael Hetzel. I'm the Senior Manager of Product Engineering. I lead our report writing team, and we're passionate about the SQL, reporting, analytics, and we're just excited to bring that expertise to help meet your needs. So one of those key services, right, is our report writing service. It encompasses two main offerings. One is advanced search reports, the other is custom reports. So what's the difference, right? So for the advanced search report offering that we have, these just utilize the built-in components of Neos, which includes what you've seen from Lauren today. What our team does is configure and deliver the report based on your needs, utilizing all that functionality. So this option is ideal for standard reporting needs where those built-in features and a more polished presentation are important, like the Neos dashboards, exporting to Excel, and so on. A custom report is a raw SQL report that we actually integrate directly into your environment. So these are suitable for complex data retrieval that goes beyond the capability of advanced search. And actually, we have one here as an example. Pam, if you can just click on that high-level referral summary. All right, yep, so you can get closed there. So as you can see, it can include parameters and filters. In fact, you can have it as a requirement. If you click on MVA for case type, and hit apply. So this is a simplified view of what we can do, but the point of this is showing a little bit of the difference there between this type of report and advanced search report. Right here, basically, we're wanting to see referral sources and what's their percentage of overall cases that they would be contributing to your firm. Clearly, obviously, you see unknown here, meaning that wasn't referred, right? But again, this can be tweaked based on needs. But ultimately, what it's doing is it's taking into account what's current in your environment, right? So it's a little bit different than the advanced analytics that Lauren just displayed, where that's doing a data trend over time. So one thing I do want to point out that's different about custom reports from advanced search here is kind of the interactivity of advanced analytics just would not be present here, right? So if you try to click on any of these columns, you can't really change the sorting live, right? We actually build that into your report on the back end. So all that stuff's there. It's just not able to be edited on the fly. So it's still available to export as well. You can do CSV or PDF for these. up there, as you can see. You can still subscribe if you need to. All that stuff's there. It's just a little bit of a different approach to reporting here. Um, so ultimately, our philosophy is we want to empower everyone to accomplish everything they need within Neos, right? So that's why we're continuously enhancing advanced search to make it more powerful, right? So that you can have all the reporting needs on your own. To that point, we also understand that everyone's got a full workload, right? May not have the time required to devote to building out all the reporting that you need, which is why we offer this service. And additionally, when we deliver an advanced search report, we're always happy to review it with you, answer any questions you might have. So I just kind of wanted to call that out. Also, as a special promotion, I just was told today that we're offering free advanced search reports for anyone who purchases a custom or advanced search report from our team, and that goes until the end of the year. So yeah, excited just an opportunity to work with everybody and enhance your reporting needs. I'm actually going to hand off to Pam, who's going to cover some reports that we actually already have built into Neos. So Pam, if you want to take it away.
Thanks, Michael.
Absolutely.
So just as a reminder, to get to reports, you're going to go to your main ribbon bar and go to open reports. When you go to open reports, it's going to show you every single report that you have in Neos. Today, we're going to focus on a couple of reports. One of the main reports that people like to see is statute of limitations. Well, how do you find a statute of limitations report among these 600 reports? So if you go to name, just underneath that, you have the blank. You can type in the word statute. And when you type in the word statute, it's going to limit the reports that are pre-built out into Neos. So here you have statute of limitations report, alternate case number. When I select on this, you're going to get this pop-up that says there are some required filters that you must insert in order to get your results. So if I hit close here, I can choose the role. So if I want to say, I want the attorney, I get to choose my case type. If I say MVA, I can choose my second staff role. So if I wanted the paralegal, and all this information here is pulling from information that's in your system. I can put the suit label has been filed. Let's say answer filed, the status of the case, and then you have your lim dates. So I can select my dates. So I can say to the end of the year and I hit OK. Whoops. My start date, I'm going to put today's date, which is the 4th. And then my end date is going to be the end of the year. And then I hit OK. So it's going to give me my results. So once I hit apply, I didn't hit my end date. The end date is going to be the 31st. And hit apply. So here, if I had results that fit in all these different filters, it would give me my results. Now, if you notice, didn't give me any results because I have no cases that are within these options. However, if I go back to reports, and let's say that I want to create one on my own. So I'm going to use the case listing by statute and date of incident. So when I select here, these are pre-built out for you in your system. I can put the case, the date was opened within this time period. If it was closed, if it's closed, my lim date, and then I can choose my case, my primary, any staff, and if it's dormant or not. There's a lot of information here. If I decide that I don't want to enter anything because it's an advanced search report, I can hit run search. When I hit run search, my results are down here. But because this one is so large, I am going to close my results. Close my criteria so I get to see my results. So here it's going to give you a list of all the cases that you have your statute of limitations within the certain date. And then I've added fields that I wanted to see. One of my case dates are filed suit. So I would know these are my statute of limitations and these are the dates that I filed my suit. Again, I can go back and show my criteria. I can go in and add my dates, and then I can run my search. As for all the other reports, I can go here to export. I can export in Excel, CSV, or PDF, or I can subscribe to it and enter my information. And again, I get to choose how I want my results delivered. Now, as Lauren was going over, if you guys wanted to create your own advanced search report, again, you go up here to the all, you hit your advanced search, And because you're pulling from cases, you would say cases, and then you would put in here all the different filters that you want to see based off of your criteria. And remember, once you enter your criteria, you're going to save it as a new report. So here, if I wanted to say, I want to see all of my open cases. So the very first thing I'm going to say is date closed is blank. And I get rid of that and I run my search. I hit run search every single time I start putting a filter, because if Neos doesn't like something, I don't want to have to go back and recreate it. Notice by default, it's going to give me my statute of limitations date here. Again, if we go back to our reports, these are some of the ones that are pre-built. If you see any that has my initials after it, that's ones that I created. So if I was to select on the statute report, and here I'm looking at all checklist items, I'm specifically looking at my checklist where I have my lim dates and the status is equal to open, and I'm going to exclude any closed cases. And this is going to give me my results of what I'm wanting to see. Now I'm going to go back to reports. When I go back to reports, we want to talk about case listings. So if I select case listings, these are all the pre-built case listings that you have in Neos. Some of these may have been ones that we've created in our environment. So anything that's generally advanced search or ones that we created. But the one I want to look for is my case listing by class code. So if I select this one, it's going to give me all of my filters. Again, these are all pre-built out, and you can just go in there and add the information in. You run your search. When I run my search, I can't see my criteria. So I'm going to hide my criteria, and then I see all of my cases. Now, this report is grouped by my class code. So here, if it's an appeal, I have one case in appeal, and it's going to give me my case. If I want to select on that case, I double click, and it's going to take me directly to my case. If I want to go back to my report, I go case listings by class code, and then I can see all of my cases in the different statuses. All right. Now, when we talk about checklist, that is the backbone of Neos, and everybody wants to know what's the best way to look at all your checklists. So if you go to your main tab over here, open checklist summary, by default, it would filter out for your name, but you can clear your filters. And this is going to give you a list of all of the outstanding checklist item. Now, when you're looking at this, you can export it, you can, manipulate it and stuff like that. But if this is defaulted to the person that's assigned to it, and I'm going to choose my name, it's going to show me all of my checklist items. As I'm here, if I need to work on this, I can double click, look at the details, do what I need to do, mark it complete, and then it's going to, as you mark each one of them complete, it's going to take it away. Now, if I go back to my reports and I want to look at checklist items that are preset, I go to checklist, and it's going to give me all these different ones that I have already set. So if I click checklist status report, and it will take me to my report, and I have all my filters up here. When I'm looking at this one, this allows me to choose my start date and my end date. When you're looking at this report, you do have the option to export it, CSV, PDF, or legacy, and I have the option to subscribe to it. So depending on how you're wanting to work will depend on which of these reports that you want to use. Just remember, whenever you find a report that you really like, make sure you make it a favorite. So once you selected a favorite, when I go to reports, I can go to all my favorites, and it's going to show me all of my favorite reports, no matter what category it's in, who created them, or if it's an advanced search report that I created. Now, if there are specific reports that you guys want, again, if it is not in Neos, you can get a training session with a trainer. You can book a time with them through our booking site. And if it's not something that can be created by advanced search or that's pre-built in there, you can always reach out to Michael's team, as it's a paid service. And like he said, They have a buy one, get one free right now until the end of the year. If you get one report, you get one for free. All right. So the last report I'm going to talk about is calendars. These are all the pre-built out calendar reports that you guys have. And just remember, if you go to the master calendar report, it's going to give you the master calendar. Again, I get to choose what my topic is, and then it's going to show you my results. If I go here, I can get rid of all of these, or I can get rid of some of them as I'm doing that. And I run my search, my results down here are going to be different. Here it says start date within the last 30 days. If I want to get rid of that and then I run my search, it's going to give me my results. All right. So, and again, you get to export it out, Excel, CSV, or PDF. All right, Miss Lauren, I'm going to hand it back over to you to round us out. And if we have any extra time, we can talk about any other specific report somebody would want.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
so just as a reminder, today we did talk about our group permissions. Any time that you're inside of Neos and you are looking for some additional help, you can click that question mark icon. So again, we're in permissions and there is an article regarding those special permissions. So for some more details about what these special permissions cover, take a look here, and clicking this will open the article and you'll be able to access that right away, as well as a video tutorial just about permissions in general. Now, we also took a look at advanced search as well. So we were in there quite a bit. And when I click the question mark icon here, you can see that this pop-up does change based on where I am. So we did some building of advanced search criteria, and there is also a video tutorial, but that will walk you through how to conduct an advanced search. So take a look at those. And of course, anytime in these pop-ups, even though this information will change based on where you are inside Neos, this support portal button will always be accessible. So when you click there, just a few quick call outs. In our What's New, of course, we have all of our information regarding releases that have just occurred or any of our maintenance releases. And also, if you're interested in Neos AI Platinum, click here to fill out a form and schedule a demo where you can get some more information about all of our great features, including those dynamic forms that we mentioned at the beginning. Okay, and then as you scroll through, Neos University, if you haven't seen it yet, please go take a look. These are free training courses where you can become certified in Neos. We actually have a brand new course for advanced, and this will be available as of this Friday. So go ahead and take a look so you can be a super user of Neos. In addition, we have that learning hub where we have all of our video tutorials across all areas inside Neos, and we also have all of our Neos Academy sessions. So if you didn't have a chance to sign up for an Academy session from earlier this year or in the prior years, all of those are going to be located here. And if you did sign up, you're going to be getting the video link of anyone that you've signed up for, even today's, but all for our academy are located here. As Pam said, if you are interested in booking some additional training on particular areas inside Neos, go ahead and click here for the areas where you can schedule that training. And then let's take a quick look at the knowledge base. And of course, these articles are updated often. So just as a reminder, today we did take a look at advanced search. We built that criteria. We customized those results. We also took a look at our My Dashboards, where we were able to create custom dashboards, as well as our advanced analytics dashboards are all located in here. And we looked at some specific reports. In addition, we also looked at the request. So again, this is the article related to what Michael mentioned earlier about creating custom reports for you. We have this link here where you can just go ahead and fill out this request form and tell us what you're looking for, and we will help walk you through what we can provide for you. Okay, and that is all. I'm going to bring up this last slide here. And Pam, Dawn, do we have any outstanding questions to review?
Nothing for you at this moment.
Okay, well, great. I'm going to just close with thank you for joining, as well as our NEOS Academy sessions. This link is here. We are going to be taking a break in December, but we will see you back for the next NEOS Academy in January of 2025. And of course, if you are interested in those custom reports, feel free to click this link here, and you can fill in your information of what you would like to what kind of report we can help you create and or we can create for you. And also don't forget to take a look at our NEOS University certification reminder. Our new course for advanced is coming out this Friday, where you can get your certification and of course that amazing Credly badge that you can share on your social media. And finally, if you're interested in some additional training, go ahead and click this training class link where you can request some training from our trainers. Thank you so much for joining with us today, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.